Good. So, welcome everybody to this webinar on Unifield's self-inspection tool. Bruno, why are we here today?
Why, I look at the slide if it's moving. First of all, good morning or afternoon, or I don't know, depending where you are. So what is the plan? So it's, as you probably know, it's our first webinar. So we are also learning a little bit the system. And that's why Robin is with us, helping us to click on the right buttons.
It'll all be okay, don't worry. It'll be fine.
Yeah, hopefully. In any case, this session is recorded. So if someone wants to watch it again this evening, it's possible.
Exciting, exciting! Or share it with your friends who missed the webinar.
So today we are going to focus on data quality and more specifically on a tool which was developed by Marie-Jo mostly on self-inspection, which will allow you to understand how crap or good is your instance on Unifield. So it's a first try out, but then in the future we plan to have more or less one webinar per month. What we have in mind for April will be a webinar on continuous improvement.
What? Continuous improvement of what?
So it's still in the same line in data quality. So today we are going to explain how to analyze and see if your data are good or bad. And then in April, if the data are bad, you will understand how you can improve this. So how to avoid to get bad data. So that's for April. For May, we have in mind to do one on vertical integration because a lot of things change on that. So vertical integration is basically the communication between Unifield and MSF supply to send orders or to receive confirmations. And then, of course, if you have any other ideas, suggestions, so we also have other ideas in mind related to reporting, for example. But if you have other suggestions to do, feel free to send that to us. If you want to see something on flamenco or, I don't know, chocolate testing.
Anything.
It's possible. Yeah, and before to leave the room or the microphone to Marie-Jo, I just want to remind you that if you have a question, if there is something you don't know how to do, first thing to do is to visit the OOPS. There are a lot of things there. We try to update the OOPS on a regular basis. And this is basically where you have all the information from the user manual to the how to send data to quarantine or send the goods to quarantine, for example.
Right. Okay.
So have a look there. I hope you know the way, but it's coming back again later, the way to the OOPS. And if the OOPS cannot help you, then you can contact Unifield Supply at brussels.msf.org and someone, being mostly Amir, sometimes Marie-Jo, sometimes me.
Amir, wave Amir. Hello Amir. There we go. Yeah.
Should be able to help you before a couple of hours, days, months, depending on the question.
Good. Okay. So straight into it then, Marie-Jo. Over to you.
Okay, hello everyone. Okay, in the first part, I will speak about what we did in 2018. Okay, after that, maybe to speak about the self-inspection tools and I gave the demonstration. At the end, maybe a question, and maybe I can give the date and the topic of the next webinar again. Okay, in 2018. Why and how? Firstly, I want to speak about the meaning of unreliable data. It's redundancy, duplication, lack of information, unfinished processes, wrong movement, and complex codification. What are the consequences of unreliable data? Direct impact on supply operation in the field. Not possible to take right decision with Unifield. Unreliable performance measurement system. Accurate data is a prerequisite of any performance system. It's important.
Okay, all right, so it's clear. So you've got a problem with unreliable data and you want to clean up this unreliable data. That's the objective of this tool. Okay, that's clear.
In the continuous effort to providing effective operational decision making based on the figure that are generated from Unifield, we have implemented data quality management practices, okay? Cleaning, training, maintenance, and validation. Because of that, three tools had been created. Cleanup database with a work instruction, continuous improvement, and self-inspection. Today, the self-inspection. Database integrity project, pilot were in the period of from March to June of 2018.
It's going to be quite difficult for people to maintain their attention if you simply read the slides.
Okay.
And so if you tell us a funny anecdote around it, we'll have more fun.
Okay,
they can read the slides for themselves. You know, it's all written there. I think this is excellent. But it's good to bring it to life a little bit.
Okay.
And so here you're talking about the supply focal point.
Now we are talking about the focal point community. And maybe we have been created in 2019.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's a community of several supply focal points.
Yes.
One per mission. And these are the people online now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously, the supply department has the full responsibility of the tool itself as a data quality, and because of that, the focal point community. Okay. The supply focal point is given additional training in order to raise awareness among Unifield users.
And that's this training now. That's what you're talking
training
about.
And training before, maybe if any training, they have to ask. Yeah. Okay. A supply focal point keeps in touch with a Unifield supply support. It's very important.
You three. Yes. That's the three of you. So that's why you encourage them to.
And me and
Bruno. Okay, that's clear. All right.
Nowadays, it's each mission which was implemented in 2018 should have begun the project of a quality management.
So there's an expectation there.
Yes.
Okay, it's clear.
To summarize, I want to speak about the database improvement in relation to the supply chain process. It's a OJ project. Okay. Now we did collective action with a cleanup database.
Okay.
Preventive action, good practice with a continuous improvement. And now today, we have in the preventive action, you have to see the self-inspection to evaluate the improvements.
That's clear. Okay.
Now for the self-inspection, what is preventive, the context and the demonstration. We are waiting about the demonstration. It's normal. Okay. It's not too much. Okay. Self-inspection. Why? To highlight, measure, and evaluate is important. Okay. We want to increase consistency and confidence in decision making. Okay. Optimize staff effectiveness is important. Okay. Minimize or eliminate errors. And at the end, enable better planning by responsible and obtain reliable data in reporting.
Okay, so that's the driver to do this. Yes. And if you had to choose a metaphor, what would this be? Would this be if I have a car, do I choose to do a self-inspection of the car to see whether the tires are blown up and that kind of thing?
It's a preventive
measure. It's a preventive measure. Yeah, okay, no, I'm with you there. Keep going.
Okay. And what to do and what are now the self-inspection? Simply to obtain figures only with your principal Unifield view and Unifield report. Not too much. We don't have to invent anything.
No, it's pretty simple. Okay.
Okay. Who can perform self-inspection? Firstly, it was Unifield supply user or Unifield supply user. Okay, it's not very difficult. Or supply focal point. But the Unifield supply user are trained by Unifield focal point. It's important. Okay.
So it's not something that you should do just on your own. You should have some basic guidance from the people online. The people online should be teaching their staff how to do self-inspection. But anybody who uses Unifield can do this self-inspection. Is that the idea?
Yes.
Okay, it's clear.
Now, firstly, when you need it, do not hesitate to use it. Okay. After that is during the cleaning of your database. Validate end of the cleaning. It's very important. Okay.
And how often does one clean one's database, Mario?
Cleaning up of the database with a work instruction. Okay, we have maybe to close the documents open or document open.
But how often does one clean the database? Every week, every month, every year?
Normally, firstly, we have to clean the database of all documents for the and 2018. Okay.
Oh, so when you do big clean, but also I can see you say every 6 months you should do a self-inspection, ideally.
Yes, mission should plan routine self-inspection, for instance. Okay. And it will be sent every 6 months to HQ, SCO, and maybe Unifield supply support, the self-inspection.
Okay. So in fact, it produces some kind of report. So the health of your database, that's what the self-inspection tool does.
Okay. Now I show you the first summary, the first part of the summary of a self-inspection. Self-inspection, it's important to say, compute status rate based on the current data or the database in general data. If space is a general rate, okay? And also with the documents created or expected in the period. Here, the period is 6 months.
And the reason why you have the both is because there may be a difference between the quality of the general database.
You will explain after, because it's very important to understand. Okay. In this case, we have documents with internal request, field order, and purchase order. Okay. And other document in the warehouse management here is incoming shipment, out, etc., etc. Okay. We have to see if
that's clear.
What is important to say in the warehouse, okay, stock management, inventory level. In this case, the self-inspection gives a number of items inside internal location represented in stock management here, okay? Because we want to see is it wrong movement or not, okay? To check the movements. Master data figures. We have a product and partner codification. This is represent the master data. What is important in the summary for all the mission is to explain some result in the field comments. You have a 4 or 5 lines to explain because sometimes it's not the moment to do the self-inspection, but we have only to explain in this case what's happened.
So, for example, we had to evacuate the project for 3 months, or there might be reasons, but the kinds of reasons that we won't capture just in the figures, and so you give it a bit of content as well, provide some context. That's what you're looking for, is that correct?
Okay. What is important to understand also is the color and the weight. Okay. In red is a critical impact, major issue, resulting in an impact on the supply operation. What is important to say? User unable to perform their normal function.
Okay, so it's a blocking factor. Yes, absolutely.
Is it non-orange? Significant impact. Orange alert is an alert, maybe. It's not totally wrong, but it's an alert. The system is usable, but might severely limited.
Understood.
Okay. In green is a minor impact. Okay, maybe you're not impacting the supply operation.
Now, whose interpretation is it? Is this an Italian interpretation? Because in Italian, green is avanti, yellow is avanti, and red is suggestion. But I don't know. This is really, if it's red, then you need to be really worried, and you need to stop and clean your database. That's the message you're saying.
But it's orange. Maybe pay attention.
Yeah, watch out.
Okay. Sometimes a strong alarm, and sometimes it's a small alarm. Okay. It's only 2 words. What is important to explain is the period of 6 months. Firstly, is requested by HQ, but you can change in the mission. Okay, it's not a problem. But for HQ, please 6 months. Progress in your database every 6 months. We can see that. Okay, we can see also the piece rate express some difficulties in terms of the following pending document. Okay. If you have too much pending document, it will be difficult and tedious for the teams to manage this document.
Understood.
In particular, high rate might include the all pending document. Because of that, you have to clean maybe clean up the database.
Unfinished business. That's what this is about. Yeah. Okay.
Now I want to show you the self-inspection. What I want to remind you firstly, it's in the hoops. Okay, you have to click in the hoops. In the self-inspection, you have a first sheet with instruction. After that, summary, I show you. In the summary, I have only to encode mission, project code, and date and position. Okay. After that, we have to see, for example, with a file order, how to manage. The warehouse with incoming shipment, and the inventory level, because it's important to understand inventory level. In over is only product. And after that, we can complete summary. Okay? I'm going in the oops now.
And we
to
go.
show you.
There
okay.
We go.
In this part, at the end, we have a continuous improvement, how to improve database, and the self-inspection is here.
Okay, it's an XLS.
Yes, okay, yes. Open it.
In we go.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's coming up well. Yeah.
Sorry, it's a little.
No, slow. That's all right.
Okay. I click on enable editing.
Yeah, understood. Okay. And it's going to be quite small for the people online to see. So if you can zoom in, that might help. There we go. Yeah, that's probably going to help a little bit because they've also got our video feed on the computer as well.
Okay. Only what I want to say firstly is only instruction, maybe how to use the self-inspection is not too much. Okay, we are going on the documents. Sorry, on the summary. Firstly, you recognize the summary.
So this is the summary that you're expecting to get in headquarters level. And I guess that they can consolidate in headquarters level and see the health of the databases across the whole of OCB.
Yes.
Are you going to do that, Bruno?
We can compare.
Yes.
And give presence to people who perform well.
Clap, clap, clap.
Okay, now I want only to take to encode the product, the country.
Okay,
like
Pakistan,
for example. Yes,
all right. So we our colleagues in Pakistan, Abdul, and I think it was Ben, Brandon. There we go. I hope you're watching carefully. This is your project, your mission.
Maybe I don't know. Pika 105 is okay. I think. Date, for example, today.
Here we go. Today's date. But Marie-Jo is doing all the work for you.
2018.
Making it easy.
Yes. Okay. Is there? Okay. Your position. Maybe.
There we go. Yeah.
I was now. Is this?
Okay.
Okay. After that, in the summary, we have only to encode this fields. Okay. The period, if you want to change, maybe you can change here. But for HQ, it's only 6 months. Okay.
Okay, it's clear.
Yes. After that, we are going for the different sheet. We have a document of self-inspection with a PO, warehouse with incoming shipment, for example, self-inspection, inventory level, over with the supplier and product. We are going to self-inspection document. In the self-inspection document, in the column C, I explain why we are asking for the figures. Okay. For example, I want to say here that having IR in draft and source validated state do not contribute to completing order cycle. Okay, in product the system with no relevant data.
That's good. So it's self-educating, in fact. Not only is it self-inspection, but also you're learning by doing the inspection.
Yes, maybe. In other case, you learn also how to manage in Unifield. Maybe you can learn
how to correct the mistakes as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very clear.
And in the green is maybe figures created in the period because it's a document. Okay, and in gray, all the figures are for all the database. Okay, what is important to say. Now I am going, for example, to explain for the file order.
And sorry, a silly question. How do you fill in these figures? Do you get them from Unifield and then you copy them across? You come to that? All right.
I'm going to check, for example, for the file order. Okay. File order, I want to see the created in the period, total, draft, validated, so say, confirmé, and the total is ongoing, totally is...
so these are the different categories of a field order. Yeah.
And then we want to maybe to split with
regular, loan,
and donation.
Understood.
Okay. Yeah. Now I can go in Unifield.
Okay.
I take maybe one is Lebanon.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Here we go.
Pakistan
is I don't know whether Lebanon you're online or not, but don't worry.
Don't worry. There's not a problem. Okay.
Let's hope your figures are good.
Okay. I want to show you how to do, and I explain. In the self-inspection, to obtain total, I click only on the button clear.
Okay.
I'm going down in the order, field order, and the view field order. Okay, I'm going in this part. Sorry. We are in the field order. Okay. And I want to clear all time clear because I don't want any filter.
Okay. Yeah. So you're removing all the filters to get the figures.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this case, we can see we have a 688.
Okay.
I'm putting.
So that's the figure you fill in there in the total, 688.
Okay, only that. Okay. And after that, I want to show in the period of 6 months.
Okay.
Last month, I'm
so
going
there we
to
go.
say,
program 3, 4, 5, 6 months.
Yes, I put in this case. Okay.
Yeah.
And I am going to search.
Okay, and now it's doing the triage and actually removing that. And now you're down to
146.
And then that's your next figure there,
yes,
146.
146.
There we go.
After that, I explain in gray. I want all the database, and because of that, I want to clear before. Okay. No, I don't want any filter.
No.
I clear
it again.
Okay. I'm going to see in draft.
Okay.
In
only
draft,
one.
You have only one. I can see is only one regular. Okay. I put one in this case.
And then there you got one there. Okay, it's clear.
It's clear. After that, clear. I'm going to validate it. Validated is more, maybe 7. 7, but all are regular.
All 7 regular orders. Okay, so fill in that.
7, and all are regular. 7. Okay. And after that, you are maybe going to source it.
Clear again, and then sourced, and then confirmed.
Sourced. Okay, we have a regular is 8. Okay. Sorry, clear. Maybe you can do that.
Quickly,
confirm.
Confirmed.
Okay.
I remember 8. Yeah.
Confirm. We have maybe 32.
8 and 32.
Yes,
okay. All right. So in we go.
8.
Bruno's remembering as well. That's useful. Good.
32
good.
is only with this part. Yeah, after that, I'm going to.
Okay, and now already we can see some colors coming up there.
No, yes, no, it's not finished.
Oh.
It's not finished. We have to see in this case. I don't have the type. Okay, we can maybe go by this way, regular and the other. Another side is it maybe group by order type. Okay. This may be useful, and we can see that regular we have 30.
Okay.
Okay, and in donation, maybe because of 42, we have 2. Okay. Now this format, I put 40, and you have 2 on donation. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Can you explain these colors then? You can see here then.
Yes. What is important to say? In this case, you have maybe green of all the database, but as an alert because we have 48 documents open.
Yeah.
Okay. But for the last 6 months, we can notice it that in confirmation state is red. Is red because of what? You have only 146 FO open in the last 6 months, but we have 32 field order open. What is important to say, maybe is an alert, and you have to check why. Is it maybe only because of a loan, but we have only 2, no loan. It's not a problem.
So it's not a problem. So it
but maybe basically
immediately you can see, according to the colors, whether your database is healthy or not, and whether you've got outstanding issues.
Yes, we need to investigate more and maybe to see deeper.
So it's a prompt. It's a prompt to say, look, dig deeper a bit there.
Yes. And maybe you can see the summary. In the summary, I give the figures, okay, to understand more. And maybe that we have 32, more over than 42 percentage open. Okay.
And then it gives you an indication of what is a good percentage to have and what is not a good percentage to have.
Yes, maybe we have to see. Okay, this is for the document. Now we can see, for example, for the incoming shipment in the warehouse.
Okay.
Okay, in the incoming shipment, for me is a warehouse. Maybe I can say I can change in the gray part. We can change the date.
You maybe do the warehouse on a different date, and a different person does the warehouse.
There's a warehouse manager, for example, and maybe in this case I ask for the storekeeper. Okay, maybe you can
because
see.
different angles give you different views,
Yes,
and
yes,
different
maybe.
instructions
You
onto
can
why
change
and
it.
different instructions onto
Yes.
the how. Okay.
And in this case, is because it's a movement waiting. Okay,
Mhm.
is it on the expected date?
Mhm.
Is not created date in this
Mhm.
case. Okay, the total and the ongoing.
Yeah.
I explain what is the ongoing. Okay, here to click clear and to have only button available. In the other side, for example, I have ongoing. You have to click on the is it maybe for the picking, to click on the draft, etc. available and confirm.
Understood.
Okay, it's simple all times. I'm going for the warehouse. And sorry, we can see, yes, incoming shipment.
Yeah. There's about a 2-second delay between when you click here, Marie-José, and when it appears on the screens of the participants. Okay. But they can now see what's
I'm going the other incoming shipment. There is a view of the incoming shipment. You can see it's available. Okay, you have to clear to obtain the total. Total is 1,338. 1,338. Okay, I put in the total. I'm going to see in expected period. Yes, sorry.
Okay, so now once again you put the period.
Yes, okay. It's the last 6 months.
And while she's doing that, Bruno, a question for you. Why is this not self-inspection tool integrated into Unifield? Because you would have thought it'd be easier if you just build it into Unifield, just press click, and then you don't have to copy it across onto an XLS, Bruno.
Maybe one day it will become, it's something that we built on top because we realized that data quality was not so good. So maybe one day it could come inside Unifield. But I think that it's also very good. It doesn't take so much time.
As you can see, we're seeing
about an hour per instance, if I'm not wrong, Marisha.
Okay.
Especially
no, but that's a key question. So let's say how long? 1 hour to do the whole
less 1 hour, but maybe for the less 1 hour. It's very quick. Yes, it's very quick. It's very quick to do that. It's only with inventory event, but the inventory event we are maybe to generate a report the day before.
Yeah,
and
understood.
after that,
so we're talking about a 1 hour inspection
yes.
To complete everything, and carry on, Bruno.
Yeah, and then I think it's also interesting to do it manually. It only takes 1 hour max, and it allows you to actually understand which data you have in your system.
Because you have to physically read every time Marie-José has written, the why you're doing this, and then the how to look for the information. And so the act of doing it manually, you're saying, is in fact prompting and educating people simultaneously.
Exactly.
Rather than just simply pressing one button, producing a report, and sending it to headquarters without thinking twice about it. Yeah. So in fact, you're quite happy that you have to walk people through the process. That's the whole point. Okay, no, that's understood. All right, carry on then, Marie-José.
Yes,
so where are we now? So we've filled in this.
I feel
in the warehouse.
In the warehouse, the incoming shipment, and maybe we can see the result. Yeah,
so we get a yellow and mainly and a green.
Only 12% is on yellow. Okay, it's an alert. Maybe we have to check the back order of incoming shipment. We have to see for that. It's only. It's maybe not totally normal, but you have to check. Now I have to see for the self-inspection. Okay.
For the inventory.
Self-inspection inventory. So yes, okay. In this case, you have all internal location.
Okay.
I give information, the definition of a location. Okay, it's the same definition that you can use to find in the document of Unifield.
This is specifically kind of your in zone of your warehouse, etc.
And I explain why I want to see this number of items. At the end, I explain that in no case goods stay a long time in input location. In no case inventory level is negative. I want to check that.
Yeah.
Okay, and after that to give alert. The same for the close docking. I give the output. This is the free location are a transit location in Unifield. Because of that, normally you don't have too much items. Okay, and after that, I want to see in the distribution.
Yep.
And log med in stock, and you can see in stock. I want to see also positive and negative, because in stock location is a parents of a medal log, and each item stockable without nomenclature log and med enter in stock location, only this item, okay, not the other items. And because of that, I want to check that. Quarantine and configurable location. In configurable location, I give them also 4 lines. Maybe you can encode. Yes, for example, I put the ePrep.
Yeah, if you've got an ePrep stock or
ePrep, I don't know. Sorry, stock maybe log.
Yeah.
And ePrep med. Sorry.
We get the idea. It's okay.
The P and over location if you have over. Okay. And what is important to say in this case? Here you have one negative and maybe another negative in this part.
The colors start changing.
Yes. In this case, it's negative. I push. We have pushed to put red. So no negative. Sorry.
No, so this is the once again the whole red, amber, green coming up. Yes. Red, not good.
Yes, red, not
good. Orange, watch out. Green, happy.
How to do? First is simple also. Warehouse, we are going in warehouse management and to export inventory level all location, not location by location, but all location. You can do the day before because it's sometimes very long if you have a big database.
Okay. So you kind of launch the request the night before. That's what you're saying. Let it crunch overnight.
How to do simply? Okay, I'm going in the warehouse. Inventory management, you have export inventory level. You can see, for example, for this mission we did in med, and maybe we have all location in this case. Okay, to do that, it's simple. You have maybe to click on the generate report all location.
Yep.
Okay. I don't want to do because it's very long, but in this case, I show you this is one location, and we can see here you have documents staying more time. It's good because of that. I open it.
And these are the figures that you can then copy across.
Okay. I open it, so it's long. Details, okay. Enable editing. Okay. I want to do only a filter. Okay. It's simple. I want to see the quantity positive and negative. Okay. It's okay. It's 0 in this case. No problem. Cross-docking. Where is the positive items? Okay. I want to check this positive item. Firstly, I said maybe we have 11 positive items.
And so there we can then fill that in on our record.
In this case, I put 11 positive items.
And the cross-docking.
Okay. But it's not very, it's not red in this case. It's positive. Maybe that is an alert. We have to see, to check after that. Okay, sorry. And I'm going to output. Output, normally we have no items. Normal is good. Packing, you have only packing, dispatch, and distribution when you have maybe only the distribution ongoing. It's not, okay, dispatch. Sorry, this is in ongoing. Okay, I'm going to.
Well done, Lebanon, by the looks of things. Relatively clean.
Relatively clean. Yes, I think it's because 17. It was in distributing was packing 17. It was dispatch. Sorry, 17 or 17. Okay, and sorry. And in this case, I'm going to see now a log. Log is correct, only positive. Sorry, med. But med is not totally correct. You can see.
Some negatives.
I have only negative. Not too much, but we need to pay attention. Okay. And in this case, it's okay. Expiry date is okay. I don't know, maybe problem on this case. We have to see, to check. And maybe there is in med location.
Yeah, 3 negative.
A big red.
Ta-da!
Sorry for that. Okay. but it's not too much. It's very easy to correct when you have only 3 items and then maybe to see.
Understood. Marie-Jo, I'm getting a very clear concept of what we're doing now. I'm conscious of time. There's only 25 minutes left, and I'm wondering whether now is the moment to go to some questions and from the field, or do you have many other things to show us?
Many other things. I want to show maybe how is it if you print your documents, okay?
So that's what it looks like. Yeah,
the summary, we have
clear.
all the view. We have, for example, in this case, a lot of negative to correct, positive to check, okay, and to correct.
Understood.
There is maybe red. You have to, in this case, you can see I put some
reasons, some comments.
Comments. And the other side, I want to show you in the codification, in this part, we have maybe in coordination, to put also the number of the product in each instance, okay? Because it's only it's for the HQ. HQ is important to know that, to see how is it for the synchronization between the instance and the unit data.
That's clear. No, that's great.
Okay.
Great.
Now you can maybe. After that, I said you complete your
summary.
Okay, and now you can go to the different questions.
Q&A. Right. So thanks very much indeed, Marie-Jo. That's very clear. And Bruno, I've understood the conceptual reasoning why you've done this. Bruno, just to give me an idea, are you already using this self-inspection tool, or is this the first time it's been introduced to the Unifield?
We started end of 2018, but I would say this tool is for the missions. Okay, we look at it, but mostly it's for them to understand how good or bad they are.
But you're receiving reports like the one that Marie-Jo just sent from missions.
Currently, it's mostly Marie-Jo working on that. So, but you are quite proactive on this and pushing missions to do it.
Yes,
it's true that sometimes you have to do it for them.
Now I have to plan the focal point with a mission. I have to plan maybe the routine self-inspection and maybe to manage and to receive. And every 6 months we have to say they have to send. Maybe they have to choose when they have to send the self-inspection, because it's depending on the context, on what you're
understood. Yeah. So in the same way, when you have a car, you get a little reminder from the licensing authority that you have to take your car for what we call in Belgium the contrôle technique. You are sending out reminders of self-inspection to the field, so they know when to do their self-inspection.
Not your thing.
Not yet.
Not yet. No. But
we encourage.
You encourage it.
We encourage it.
You encourage it. Good. All right. So once again, for those of you online, if you have any questions, now is the time to either raise your hand. There's a little raise your hand icon, or you can type a question into the question pane or the chat pane, and I will read it out for you. Please go ahead. Marie-José, Bruno, and Mir are here to answer your questions and also hear your feedback. Is this a good tool for you? Are you happy with the self-inspection tool? Is it a terrible disaster and you never want to do it ever again? I don't know. Now is the time to engage with the Unifield support team. Great. First question. Thanks very much. Coming up here from Vinod. Is this tool specifically designed for a supply team? ? Is this tool specifically designed for a supply team? No, that's just start with that question first.
Okay.
And so, is it designed specifically for a supply team, or is it designed for supply and finance, I guess? Or
this is for supply team.
For supply.
Only for supply team.
Okay.
And I would say also, it's not the focal point who must do everything. We hope that the focal point will actually take this tool in hands, but every project should be able to do it himself.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's not one person who must do everything, but this person should at least encourage.
It should be a joint effort, a team effort. That way we all learn and we all improve the database quality together. Okay, that's good. Thanks very much. Vinod has another question. How do we incorporate non-integrated missions, for example, supply handling, procurement, farmer team handling, inventories, warehouse, etc.? Good question, Vinod. So how do we deal with that? So if you've got a integrated mission. So in other words, where the supply is doing one part of the supply chain and the farmer is doing another part. So the supplier, for example, is doing the procurement, Bruno, and the farmer is doing the inventories and the warehousing. How do we manage it there?
But by the way, they have to send the self-inspection. We have seen, but we can maybe encode by profile. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Maybe the warehouse, the part of the warehouse management and inventory level can be maybe with a pharmacist.
Yeah, so it's a team effort again. That's what I'm hearing. Is in fact the tool absolutely applies to the whole team, and yeah, the pharmacist would fill in one bit of it and supply the other bit of it.
Yes,
but clearly, data which are not managed under Unifield, they will not come out in this self-inspection tool. And I think the question is probably you have something like that behind.
I don't know.
The question of Vinod, maybe you can clarify. But I can understand that easy stock is behind the question.
So we can try, Vinod, I'm going to try and unmute you now. Vinod, can you hear us over?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Please, can you expand on your question? Can you explain why you're talking about a split management of the supply chain? What is your exact context?
Yeah, actually, so our setup is that we are a non-integrated mission. So inventories of the medical supplies are handled by pharma team, basically the project and the mission. The main problem we face is, I think the initiative is great with this tool. It is very easy to use, but it's just one thing, like you answered that that it is designed for supply team. So the pharma team doesn't understand this software or the concept. We tried from our side, from the supply side, just to give them a brief on the software, because I think it is relevant for them as well, because they are looking after the inventory part.
Yes.
But for supply team, the main problem is that because we clearly don't have the access for the inventory side, because our login credentials have access limits.
Okay.
We can't actually go into the inventory side and check these checks which are there, spot checks are there.
Understood. So in other words, you need to reach out to your pharmacy colleagues and come to an agreement to perform the self-inspection together, and they need to be convinced that this is a good idea. And so this is also what we can do at all levels, at your level in the field, but also in headquarters level as well. And so the question to you, Bruno, have you presented the self-inspection tool to our pharmacy colleagues in headquarters?
No, not directly.
Yeah. So a little job for you, Bruno.
No, again, I would say, okay, in the HQ, okay, it can help. But the best for me is, again, the focal point should take this tool in hand and explain to the people which benefits they could have. And let me take an example with the pharma. If you have negative stocks, clearly this will have a huge impact on availability of items throughout Unifield. So, yeah, you should be able, or the focal point should be able to explain them how it is, and maybe do the first self-inspection on the pharmacy, the pharmacy stock with them, and hopefully they will then be able to do it at least every 6 months themselves.
Because they will see the value of performing this self-inspection.
Because of course behind that, corrections needs to be done.
Yep.
No stock should be negative.
Yep.
And then behind that, you will have a better accuracy of the data.
Yeah, understood. Okay. Anything to add, Marie-Jo?
Yes, it's important to implicate all the users of the Unifield and in the chain of the supply. Okay, it will be maybe a tool of a communication between the different services.
Good. Okay. Yeah. So a holistic approach.
Yes.
Good. So thanks very much indeed for your comments and your questions, Vinod. We move to Sakiwo. Sakiwo, I'm unmuting you now. How are you doing? Over.
Can you hear me?
Yes. 5 on 5. Sakiwo.
Oh, man. Yes. So look, some of the questions I wanted to ask, have been addressed. So in my context of it, we do not have pharmacies, so we don't have the issues that Vinod may have. But the question that I wanted to ask was, I have gone to the projects, right, and inspected, the database, from field orders, draft open, and working with the log managers, and asked them, what to do. But what I've noticed at the coordination level was there was a PO that had remained like in draft status, since 2016, and we could not do anything about it. So it looks like, if there's something that you need to do, you need to contact a Mir or someone, to do something about it. If it dates that back, to 2016, do we have rights, to cancel or do something about an order that remains open without explanation or without any documentation, supporting, that status?
Yeah, excellent question, Sakiwa. Very well understood. So an old order that's opened and it's polluting your database, and we want to clean up. Who would like to take this question? Amir, you take this question.
Hello. So this is...
Hi, Amir. How are you?
Hello, Sakiwa. We just emailed just 5 minutes ago. So the result of the self-inspection, so I had for example, from South Sudan, from Pakistan, from Haiti. So once they know, like they have an alert, like a red alert from their, like for example, PO and FO, and they investigate more, and they found out that there is a PO and FO, an old one that they cannot close, they will send an email to Unifield supply at brusselsmsf.org. And it's me behind that, or Marijo sometimes. So it's sometimes the PO and FO on the old one, it's still buggy. So they have a bug that we cannot close it. So I need to ask to Geneva to close it, like for the project, for the mission. So it's an old bug that we can.
So it's more a software issue. It's not a rights issue. I mean, it's what I'm hearing. It's just physically. It's not the fact that we don't want to give the admin authority to
even I cannot close it. It needs to be a data fix from Geneva.
It's a technical data fix that has to come from Geneva. Sakiwa, does this answer your question, Sakiwa? Over.
I thought that's clear. Thank you.
Yeah, so
I think that's all I hear.
If you have a list of PO or FO that you cannot close from your side, just send me on an Excel file and I can take a look at it.
Great. Okay, thanks very much. Marie-Jo, you had something to add to that?
Yes, feel free to ask me maybe if you have any problem to understand what's happened in your database. Okay. In the first analysis, I give normally different sample like that. Okay. And I explain that you have to send in the Unifield supply support. Okay. You couldn't close it. If you are totally stuck. Okay. Please send to us the problem, okay? If you are stuck to analyze how is it in your movement and the other, please send to us and we you can analyze. Okay?
Understood. Sakiwa, thanks very much. Any further questions, Sakiwa?
No. The other question has been answered already, so that's fine.
Good. Well, thanks very much indeed. It's good to hear from you. I'm muting you. Now moving on, let's just see whether there are other hands. Another hand raised here. Excuse me, I'm just scrolling down. From Brandon in Islamabad. I'm unmuting you, Brandon. Go ahead with your question, over.
Yeah, we're wondering when there's going to be advanced Unifield training. So the one that we get in Ivory Coast is fairly basic. So when there'll be more for teaching everybody about the reporting and things like this.
Okay, excellent question, which I'll repeat because the sound was kind of 3 on 5 there. So just for the other people online, I'll repeat. The question is to Bruno, when are we going to have advanced Unifield training? So in Abidjan, what currently takes place is quite kind of basic entry-level training. When are we going to get the good stuff, Bruno?
First of all, let me say it's a bit out of the topic, but
no. But this is open Q&A. All questions. So all questions are welcome. All questions are welcome.
That's clearly something that we need. So yeah, I will not give you a date. There is a discussion. Also, what we try to do is to work together. I mean, all sections are doing the same. We want training, we want documentation. So we are really trying now to mutualize much more what we are doing. So, and I hope that we will go into this direction to have an advanced training, more focusing on reporting, on management, things like that. But this should be done intersection, and it shouldn't be a face-to-face training like we have the Abidjan one but it could be a distance learning thing, e-learning or yeah, maybe one day we could do a webinar on things like that. Huh? It's another option, focusing on reporting, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully it answers the question.
So Brandon, are you happy with this answer or are you angry? Over?
No comment. Thank you.
No comment. Okay. And there's a follow-up question to complete what Brando asked. I've understood that the shared IT services will take over sooner or later, and maybe this is not tomorrow, but down the line, the responsibility for managing core Unifield. And do you know anything about whether the shared IT services might also do user support in the form of training as well, Bruno, or is that not yet clear?
It's not yet clear. It could be an option, and Unifield was done like for this reason, to have a one tool shared by all sections. And we can say that today on this we failed a little bit because every section is developing its own tools, like for example the self-inspection tool that we try to promote, or to promote. That's why we have someone from OCA here today, I think. But we try to also invite other sections to use this kind of tool. But currently we are quite fragmented, and we are trying to go more into sharing initiatives. And
well, hopefully with the shared IT services this will come, because for those of you online who are not aware of this initiative, in Prague they've built their building, they just launched what we call the shared IT services. And the idea is that this Prague office will be responsible, accountable for managing Office 365 and everything related to Office 365 for the whole movement, Unifield and everything related to Unifield for the whole movement, and Symphony. These are the shared tools that we have across the whole movement. At the moment, the staff there are 2 staff, but they project up to 50 staff over the medium to long term. And so we hopefully will increase our capacity to support these shared tools, shared IT services across the movement. So we'll see the developments that happen. But it is a good call from Brandon. It's quite a nice suggestion that you could do a webinar in the short term. Why not? The knowledge you have it between you, I think, in your head, Amir, and Marie-Jo and Bruno. This is their first one today, so let them get going. But if it goes well for you, then at least in a short term, you could give little chunks of more knowledge for more advanced training. Okay. All right. Thanks very much indeed for the question. A comment from Simeon. Simeon says, no questions. Congratulations. And thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the thanks, Simeon. Okay. Scrolling across. Let's see whether any other hands raised or questions. Now is your time. 9 minutes left. If you've got any questions, if you want to raise your hand and discuss, now is the time. Small pause. Obviously, Marie-Jo, you were very clear in your presentation. So
okay, I can show you maybe if you want example, if you want, of a self-inspection.
Okay, yeah, let's have a look while we're waiting. And I keep my eye open for any more questions, should they come.
Yes, maybe I show you, for example, the difference we can find in between the coordination. Okay, I'll show you this, sorry.
Okay.
This is maybe the one of this self-inspection.
Oh, there's a lot of red and yellow there.
It was red, but it was at the beginning in June. Now it's better.
Okay, well
they have improved a lot. I don't want to see.
Yeah.
Is it maybe to be defined, but it's not the mission.
Okay.
Okay, but it's red, but they have improved a lot. What I want to say. Okay, but for example, if I see this case, you have. I want to follow by the PL purchase list. If maybe the purchase list, we have a lot of in confirmed state, because normally we want to see if the partner instance receive the documents, because it's important for the finance in the coordination. Because of that, I put purchase list in this case. Okay. In the warehouse, we can see the warehouse. We have in this case, sorry, excuse me, the out document. We see that it's red. Why is red? For me, I think it's maybe because of the unfinished process. Okay.
Yeah, understood.
You ask for the internal request, maybe it's entered in stock, but you do not finish by the out documents.
Yeah.
And because of that, I want to push this. Okay. Instruction. What is important? I said for the codification. For example, here is in orange, because there is a difference between the coordination and the different instances, maybe for HQ to see what's happened.
Yeah, understood.
Basic case. In the coordination, I show you here, documented. You can see that sourced, for example, the PO, you don't have sourced in the PO in the coordination, but in the project is normal. The state has totally changed. I can show you maybe in the project. Where is it? Project, sorry, excuse me. In the project, okay, we can see that the sourced document exists. Okay, it's normal because sourced with coordination.
Yeah, understood. Okay. I see.
And maybe I can see that, and maybe we can see how is it.
So it really helps you to compare different instances, different locations, and helps you to dig deeper. It raises flags and guides you to where the problems might be.
Yes, yeah.
And essentially, an unhealthy database means risks that you block the supply chain. Some more comments then. So Christina and Wilson in Malawi. They agree on the need for at least a webinar to share advanced Unifield use practices and reporting. Okay, so you've Brandon, your call has been seconded by Malawi. There we go, Bruno. It's clear. You asked for the next topics, Unifield advanced use. Thank you very much indeed, Christina and Wilson. Okay, I'll just check for any final hands raised, which there are not. In which case, then, in that case, all that remains is to say thank you very much, Amir. Amir, wave goodbye. Voila, there we go. Thank you very much, Marie-José. You can wave goodbye. Yeah, okay. And Bruno. And thank you, everybody online. And you're scrolling around, and
it's okay. It's okay.
You just want to finish on this. Yeah.
I want to show only the presentation.
Thank you for being so very attentive. Okay. And we look forward. So we're going to do this webinar again today in French, and then hopefully, if you get excited, you can do more and more and more. And
if you want to improve your French, join the afternoon.
Ah ben voilà. Vinod says thank you very much for the effort. Bravo. Thank you very much for your comments, Vinod. Allez, goodbye everybody, and have a good day. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks, OCB. See you.